I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life. All right, we are back. Small technical difficulty.
Later technical difficulties.
We have overcome said difficulty and are on persisting forward through the reeds and muck and mire of technicality. It's a swamp, really, when we're trying to drain it. Is that odd?
Drain the swamp. Yeah.
We're draining the technical swamp.
It's a technical draining. It's a digital draining. And
Are we technically draining the swamp? Or are we draining the technical swamp?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's all semantics at this point. We should do an episode on semantics because I don't really know what that means.
Samantha.
So I was listening
Samantha
to
X.
We're
semantics?
so like
I'm definitely guilty of some antics.
some antics. Yeah, me too. We do a lot of like weird like wordplay and like super sarcastic jokes, and it's funny because like if you get us, I feel like you're like, haha, these guys are funny. If you don't get our humor, I feel like you would just be like, these guys are fucking idiots.
Well, if you don't get our humor, then I'm not going to go there.
If you don't get our humor, then
You have something to strive to.
thank you for still listening, because you must think we're idiots and you still
Kidding.
listen to us. So hey, that's cool.
That's all right, though. I mean, at least you maybe you take something else from our
Maybe.
stupidity.
I would like to read a quote from one of our listeners. Ooh, yeah.
Go on.
So one of our listeners texted me, and clearly he's somebody I know because I don't just give my phone number out to everybody. Well, maybe I should. Maybe I do because I change my number regularly. Maybe
555-5255.
What was it? 867-5301.
Yeah, 867-535-5.
Oh, 5309. 867-5309.
Yeah, 5309. Obviously, but I was Okay,
So-
go moving on.
Anyways, so one of our listeners, I was just chatting with him, and he's hello. I guess I might as well just keep giving him credit. Coleman Martin. So he texts me and he goes, "I like listening to your show at the end of the day. It's like a good pep talk with some really entertaining tangents." I was like, "Ooh, book jacket review. I like it."
That is very book jacket review. Like
Heck yeah,
if
dude.
we ever write a book
If
that's
there is
based on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
that is going on the back jacket.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coleman. And I guess, well, no, he gets that in a second. Yep. So what's going on, JB? What's going on, Steve? I have to engage you because you're on your phone.
Let's talk to Steve because
Steve, what the hell are you doing on your phone, anyways?
I ain't on my phone.
No, what are you doing on your
Steve,
phone?
put the
To
phone
technical
down and talk.
Who are you talking to?
engage.
No, yeah, I was
Engage with
looking
us.
on. I was looking on the internet's machine.
What internet's machine?
The Safari.
Safari.
Yeah.
Like Safari
What are you
Park?
looking on the Safari machine for? You
I was
have
looking
like
on
two of
this
your
new
best
trade
pros
that went
and
down in the
a huge audience.
NBA.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, we have like hundreds of thousands of listeners, and you're on your phone.
That's true. Well, no, because I'm also getting some background information.
And by hundreds of thousands, I mean hundreds.
hundreds.
But hey, we do have hundreds.
or thousands.
We have hundreds. We have added 100 monthly listens from this month till last month, and this month's not even over. Pretty excited.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate
Seriously, it's the little things.
it. Seriously, go tell your
Like
friends.
we joke and we're sarcastic, but literally,
truthful.
like Tim and I were talking about this today. He sent me a graphic on the old phone because he's the one administrating this circus. And I was like, "Holy crap, this is awesome!" Like, and it, to put us up against the other crazy podcasts out there, and we are David to their Goliath, but.
Take that, Goliath.
It's pretty incredible that you guys are listening. Whoever you are, we appreciate it, and it makes our day. It gives us the warm and fuzzies.
It sure
that
does.
You're sitting there listening to us, taking your valuable time, and listening to three old coots. Buffoons.
Three old best friend coots.
Trying to inspire you to do something maybe different, maybe not, just getting after it, whatever it is.
That's right.
There's a guy I work with, and not like work in the company. He's one of the recruiters I use. So he recruits for the positions that I hire for. And he's a cool guy, and he lives out in Florida, and I let him listen to the podcast. And like 5 minutes later, after I sent him the link, he sends me back like, LOL, crab concentration camps. That was like the one thing that he took from the podcast was when I said crab concentration camps. But no, he's like, dude, I love it. He's like, I feel like it's like if I was hanging out with you guys, like,
See?
So I mean, so thank you guys for keeping us real, because there was a time when not that we would ever be not ourselves, because I don't think we're like capable of that.
We were having a hard time figuring ourselves out.
Well, yeah, and I think we were having a hard time figuring out what people want without feedback. So once we got feedback,
and we really we decided that, not that we don't care what people want, but we're just going to be who we are.
That's right.
And if you like it, then, and I think because we're being genuine and three friends talking, I think people can relate to that. Be like, oh my God, I have a few friends that I would love to do this with. And if you have that, I totally recommend that you do. Get the technical, it's not that difficult. Just do it. Go out, either talk to them or record a podcast, or, just get together with your friends, have a chat. It's very cathartic. It's very therapeutic, which is half the motivation of why we do this anyways, just because we want to talk to each other after a day or a week or whatever.
If you don't have friends like this, then if we are like, you're like, hey, like these guys are cool, like I feel like they're my friends, then you know what? That's awesome. And you know what?
Give us a call.
Send us an email, and we'll totally bring you on an episode.
Drop us a wire, baby.
Yeah,
I would love to do like smoke signals, even if I wonder if that works.
I don't know, man.
We want to know who you are.
I pay enough attention. Well, maybe with my new observational approach to life, I can actually see smoke signals. Or send Steve a pigeon. Like one of those little...
Yes,
carrier pigeon, please.
Dude, that's so cool, man. We should start that again.
Mike Tyson's already starting to do it.
Mike Tyson?
We could do carrier drones.
Yeah.
Carrier drones. No,
but
dude,
they can only be...
Cooler.
They can only go as far as a drone can go, which is like 40 miles an hour. It's like it's best at 20 minutes. So
when yours goes, yours can travel 4 miles away, and mine's like 2.5.
Well, I'm just kind of, I'm just thinking about battery power, because if we're doing carrier drones, we probably can, manipulate the control distance. But as far as batteries go, it's like 40 miles an hour for 20 minutes.
The pigeons, man, the pigeons.
Pigeons can go all day because they just stop. They eat some seeds.
Yeah.
And they keep going. It's like horses,
Delicious
the Pony Express. This is like the Pigeon Express.
They poop on a windshield, and then they're just like, dude, I'm good. That's all I need. Steve, wake up.
Cook-up!
Yeah, they... I think there's something to this. This is going back analog in a digital world.
Dude, and that's it, man. We got to go back. We got to go back and find our instincts, because I think that's what we're losing.
Think about it. Think about it. Post-apocalyptic... That's pretty much when digital is made a moot point.
Moot.
Absolutely.
Analog takes back over when the old, power substations go down.
Well, and just having survival skills and all kinds of things come back into play.
That's living an analog life.
Yeah.
That's survival skills. That's when, oh shit, my refrigerator isn't working. Oh, okay, well, how do I keep things cool? Oh, I dig a root cellar. Oh, how do I make food? Oh, I either raise goats, or I have a garden or I just go take my Glock and I threaten my neighbor who has a ton of canned food. There's that too.
Well, and that third one, that's going to happen, and that's why you need guns.
Well, that's what happens initially once the grid goes down. It's like, hey, I love you, but you know what? I have more ammunition and I actually have a gun. This is bad. I'm not promoting gun violence.
But I think you're right. But honestly, I think the super prepared people are the people who are going to be more calm in that situation. I think it's the people who panic.
I've thought about this too, and I've done my fair share of investigating.
You've done your fair share of zombie apocalypse research.
Honestly, the whole ammunition gun thing, it sounds sexy, and it's like, I'm gonna have all the guns and stuff like that. It's like, but it's such a tiny, minute aspect of a post-apocalyptic world.
Dude,
it's the defense part. Honestly, when it comes down to it, once the shit hits the fan and the shit has then dropped and dried out, you really it turns into community. It's like, how do we pool our resources for survival?
Well, and honestly, dude, it doesn't even matter.
Resources being physical resources or intellectual resources,
I agree. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, when you're talking about all the guns and all the ammo. Let's be honest. Like post-apocalypse happens, and unless they get everything back online within less than a year, like the ammo and the guns are going to be gone by then. Like there won't be
that's the
anything
thing.
left.
Like there's a finite amount of ammunition.
Yeah, so that's when like my machetes and like my swords and like my knife collection are going to come.
Which is why I call bullshit on The Walking Dead, because that can only happen for so long.
Yeah, you're right. Unless you know how to reload, which a lot of people do.
Well, yes, but still, you're only going to have a certain amount of gunpowder.
I know, but
I
have friends that have a stockpile of it, dude.
Well, I know, and that's fine, but there's still only.
It's like 1 in 1,000 people.
Years.
The zombie apocalypse
later.
ain't gonna happen, y'all.
We're not even talking about the zombie apocalypse, Steve. It could be
what
any
we were talking
apocalypse.
Yeah, we're talking about like
zombie apocalypse, animal apocalypse, nuclear apocalypse, power grid, EMP apocalypse. Yeah.
Wait, any apocalypse?
We're talking about like Venezuela right now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the? Are we talking about the supervillain
15,000%
apocalypse?
But here's the
guess
thing,
what
JB,
happens?
like, it's not. And Venezuela is not exactly a third world. Is it a third world? I don't even know what a third world country is.
It's like third or fourth
but
now.
So what I'm saying is though that they didn't fall back as far as we would if we got hit with EMP. Like big difference.
What's an EMP?
Big difference. Electromagnetic pulse.
I think it's different. I think the fact that Venezuela's financial structure has crumbled makes its inhabitants like pissed off because there's a possibility for it.
Well, it's like Greece, like 10 years ago or whenever that happened.
Yeah, exactly. And if our our infrastructure went down, it would be more of a surprise. Like, holy crap, what's happening?
True, but also Venezuela.
It's a different way of looking at
Venezuela and Greece are also a lot closer to a socialist structure than we are. You have a lot of people who function without the government as it is. Now, don't get me wrong. I think a post-apocalyptic situation, I think that where you live, JB, is going to be a hell of a lot different than where we live.
Yeah. Sheer population numbers.
Sheer population numbers, but also I think people in maybe not Nashville proper, but people in Tennessee, I think are much probably more.
You mean adept to surviving
without
But you know what, dude? We've talked about this. In California is a very rural country, very rural state. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
There is very rural country
but not
in the state, is what I was trying to say.
Not on the coast.
No, but
on the coast it would be fucking mayhem.
Honestly, equidistant from you to the coast to the other direction. You're not talking a ton of distance.
No, you're absolutely right. I got 20 minutes east, and I'm in Alpine, where people have fucking llama farms.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So don't sell yourself short. If that stuff happens, you're going east. You know where to go.
Yeah. Although, dude, if Jade Helm happens and the military turns against us, I'm fucked.
Which is weird. I totally freaked out on Jade Helm in like 2015.
Dude, I know you did, and I remember that. I just know too many military people to think that could actually happen.
Wait, for those of listeners out there that don't know what Jade Helm is.
JB, can you sum up Jade Helm?
Jade Helm was a
Who
joint. I can't remember exactly what JADE stood for.
It was one of those things from Acronym, Ohio.
Yeah, Acronym, Ohio, exactly.
Judge Advocate.
But it was basically a war game that took place in the southern United States.
But not the South, didn't it even take place in like Arizona and shit?
Yeah, so there was a number of states that were considered friends, and there were a number of states that were considered foes, and they actually brought down, military equipment, and they were discussing whether or not, I don't know the exact parameters because a lot of that stuff is kept.
So what you're saying is what actually happened. What was the conspiracy theory that was behind the whole thing?
That the government was kind of training our minds to get ready for martial law. That was a conspiracy theory behind it. Is that they were frog in a pot-ing us.
Right. They were turning. Well, dude, let's be honest. That happens every day.
Basically, keep making sure that we were used to the sight and the sounds of military equipment going up and down our streets.
Fair enough.
Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I just have to believe because of all the people.
That's the conspiratorial side of it.
I believe that even if the president or whoever ordered the military to act on so whatever, start rounding up civilians. I just think there would be enough military people who would be like, F you, dude, and not do it.
Well, and you look at any of the blowback from, like, say, Texas or Arizona, where there was a large number of said people that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. They were about to revolt. And part of me is like, there's the conspiratorial side, there's the actual side, and there's like the bunch of snapshots in between. And you've heard of the term PSYOP,
psychological operation.
Yeah. Basically, there's a gray area where it's like they put out all this information, this like basically throwing spaghetti against a wall to see what sticks. So they're basically throwing all these ideas out there. Like maybe they were even saying that, the military was saying that they were going to try and see what martial law sounded like in more of just an idea version, and seeing what the people were going to react to by just the information. You know what I'm saying?
And I think when you say the military, I'm thinking the brass, not the dudes.
The higher ups, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because by the time you get to that level, you're essentially a politician.
The strategists.
Right. But here's my problem with that whole thing though. Like I don't, and guys, I'm sorry if you're not like Steve looks like glazed over right now. He's a little lost. He's not a conspiracy theorist. Steve is a guy who thinks everything's gonna be okay.
I know everything is
JB,
be
I think, had a sort of short dive into deep conspiracy theories, and then I think he came back to sort of a medium. Like we look at everything.
Not necessarily. I just like to question things. I just don't like to take the narrative, and I know that sounds conspiratorial, but I just like to question things. I will whatever is most logical and whatever sell me on it. I'll believe it.
If we all question things, I think it'd be a better... Yeah, because, dude, you look at our history. Like, you cannot deny that the government does some shady shit. I mean, that's how it is. It is what it is. And there's plenty of government officials who mean well, and there's plenty of government officials who go in meaning well and end up whatever. Stuff happens. I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, and also absolute power corrupts absolutely. These are two different quotes that both have, merit. But I think that just from the people that I know... my thought, and I don't even know why we're diving so deep into this, but that even if the people at the top, had these thoughts and wanted to order the military to act against civilians, I just don't see the lower level military guys doing that, because at least enough of them to make it a huge problem.
No, for sure. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely, and I know, it's fun to think about. It's
no, I mean, half the conspiracy theory stuff is fun. You dive into it and you see just all the crazy stuff.
It's more entertainment. It's more just kind of trying to, escape the minutia of normal life, thinking that there's something else going on. I get that.
But here's the thing, though. There really is always something else going on, and I think it's
and
that's
the thing.
It's like, a lot.
That's where you
less
get to
interesting and less entertaining and less sci-fi than what the hardcore conspiracy theories say. But it's always something.
Or is it?
Well, it may not be, but I'm just saying, like, you watch, like, the X-Files, dude, and, like, the whole alien conspiracy with the crazy meth addict, trailer park people is really, like, they actually, the whole theory is that they sort of pushed that theory through and let it go because they were really trying to cover up all the crazy government projects
it's hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
Is what that's all about, yeah.
And they blame... They allow the crazies to come out and pitch the one end of the spectrum. So the stuff that's kind of, like, oh yeah. Oh, it was aliens. Well, really it was some crazy hoverboard, bomb experiment, some hobgoblin from the freaking Spider-Man movies experiment that the government was doing. But they cover that up by letting the crazies go out on their, their meth and stuff and talk about
it's an intellectual smokescreen is what it is.
Right. But when you dive into it, and then you come back a step, you see that there's a lot of stuff that is a smokescreen and it is a sleight of hand. And it's not always as crazy or as entertaining or as X-Files as some people think it is. But there's always something going on. And I think if you apply a little bit of logic to a lot of stories and you follow the money, you just start to think about things logically. And I mean, I think I'm not saying go full conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat and stuff, but I am saying, question everything. I mean, look at everything.
Here's the thing, too. So, me being somebody who leans towards thinking more conspiratorially, is that? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Sure. Moving on. There's the argument of the government taking action and manipulating the quote unquote truth because the masses couldn't really handle that truth. The person is smart, people are dumb kind of thing.
Like
I'm not saying people are dumb. You get what I'm saying.
No, but you're saying that they think people are dumb. I think that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole we have to protect them from themselves, and that's how the really shady ones. That's how they pitch it to the kind of like not so shady ones. Let's be honest.
Exactly. It's like, so do you want to revolt? No.
Right.
Okay, so this is how we have to sell it to the masses.
JB, I know that you really care about your constituents, but the people just can't handle this. I mean, this is crazy, and they just wouldn't be able to handle it, and they would break down, and to society would break down, and we just can't have that.
There is some truth to that, because we do believe in a certain set of truths.
And if any one of those manipulated by the government since the day we were born.
What? Yeah, I mean, and I'm just trying to, this is just kind of how I see it. That we have been, brought up to believe in a certain set of truths. If any one of those truths were to fall, it would be very traumatic. And I'm not saying that's not true. You want to get into, a mass of people having a crisis of faith. That's not cool. So there is a house of cards that has been built. Do I sound like a fucking conspiracy nut right now?
A little bit, but it's okay. I mean, I get it. You guys.
No, but Steve, you being somebody who has no skin in this game, am I making any sense?
No, you are making sense in the sense where, like, yeah, I do believe that there is a set standard of education that has been established.
Well, not even just education, but I'm talking about religion. I'm talking about faith in the government, that kind of thing.
Well, and let's be honest, dude. Since the beginning of government, and I don't even mean American government, I mean government, period. So I'm talking thousands of years.
Greek, French.
The government has always had an interest in creating the feeling of uneasiness, or the fact that you need the government, because the government needs you to need the government. So they want us to feel like we need the government, and we would be lost without the government. And I mean, I think that's just kind of a core. I mean, just look around your company. Like, everybody has a job, and everybody wants to make sure that they make themselves feel needed.
Yeah, that's actually a really good example. Mm-hmm. Just in a sort of a corporation.
I'm trying to draw everything back to logic, because I feel like that's where you and I take everything. And
exactly.
Sometimes
you're going to want to make yourself indispensable.
Absolutely. But I mean, let's be honest. At the end of the day, we're all dispensable. We're all replaceable, but not in your circle, but just on kind of a binary basis. But I think that if you bring everything down to logic, I think that you and I have arrived at some conclusions using logic, that if we just it's kind of like you solve a math problem and like you don't show your work. Like, if you just like, well, here's the answer, it's like, well, how the hell did you get that answer? Like, like it's when you move
well, but that's funny, because if the answer is correct, where do you go from there?
But it's you reached a certain point in probably somewhere in high school, or probably by college at least, if you not before, that you had to start showing your work, because the right answer wasn't good enough. You had to show how you got there. That's just to prove you're not cheating too. Well, I understand that, but
I know you do. I'm just saying.
Stop poking fucking holes in my analogy, dude. So what I'm saying is, you and I have gone through hours of conversation that took us to a certain point. Now, if I just tell Steve the end point that we got to, Steve's like, you guys are fucking crazy. But then if I spell out even kind of bullet points of the process that we used to get there, then he's like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe that does make sense. It's like,
for sure. No. It's there's. Big steps in logic aren't easily swallowed.
Yeah, but I mean, you just got to understand it. First of all, I mean, I've said this a few times, like, follow the money. It's always about money. There's always money involved. And, one of and then the thing is, when anything involves violence, tragedy, death, like that's just faux pas. You can't say, well, and I'm not going to go down this road, but like, you can't say that something that involved, something horrible like that was fake, or was what was government designed, or anything like that, because a lot of people can't stomach that. But then you look at a lot of things and you're like, well, war is a huge financial stimulant. And then you start thinking about, like, well, in World War II, yeah, sure, FDR and Churchill and Stalin were all in cahoots.
I think we can leave it at this. If you are on the fence about any sort of, like, conspiratorial, there's a good kind of intro idea, and it's called a false flag. And if you want to look into this, and I'm not saying you need to, if you're completely content in your life and you don't need any sort of extra analysis of logic or anything, but if you do, just go look into the Gulf of Tonkin and how that affected the Vietnam War. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm
For
not
all
going
of you
anywhere.
who are
I'm not
wondering
going
what that
anywhere
is.
further with it. What's up?
For all of you who are wondering what that is, I have no idea, and I would venture to guess Steve has no idea. So I'm gonna have to look that up.
That's what I'm saying. Is even like, because I'm just saying, even you guys.
Here's the thing, though. You look
Just
it up,
go Google
just false
it,
flag
just
in
go
general,
Google it,
and
check
there's
it out,
been
and
there's been
then-
enough false flags that really happened, that were really true. And again, I'm not saying that every government official is evil, because some of them probably did what they did because they thought they had the best interests of the people in mind.
Yeah.
However,
I'm not getting behind their
Yeah.
motivations. I'm just saying.
Right, exactly.
That we're talking about questioning the narrative.
Well, and I mean, I think
That's
you
all
know,
I'm saying.
And I think that's and you know, it's not even a bad thing. I mean, because we say that with your everyday life too. Take a step back from your emotions and look at everything. Like,
Yeah.
What are you, Jax? What are you eating? Can you take that wrapper away from? Jax is eating some sort of wrapper. Not like
P Diddy.
No. I was that's here. Great minds think alike, my friend. Yeah, no, not like
Jax
not
is
like
chewing on.
He's not
Lil
chewing on
Uzi
Ludacris,
Vert's
dude.
the
Ludacris is
ankle
safe
right now.
It's like a Kind Bar wrapper. So yeah, I mean, I think that with if you just approach everything with logic, that's all I can ask. Because I have to be honest, and you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but the news is only telling you part of the story. Your friend is only telling you part of the story. Facebook is only telling you part of the story. And
honestly, just replace enough of the narrative with logic that you can handle.
yeah,
I'm
and
not saying go turn your whole life upside down, because that's not our point here. Is that if there's something that doesn't feel right, investigate it. If everything feels right to you, then just keep living your life.
If JB thinks a certain current event was a false flag, and you think JB's crazy, instead of just dismissing it and saying, "Oh, that's insane. How could you possibly?" Go look it up. Prove him wrong. I mean, that's where most people falter, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's crazy," and then
just looking at life through an intellectual lens. That's all we're asking.
Or you could, or if you want to be like me and just turn it all off, that's fine too. Like, just turn it all off and just focus on the circle around you. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, if you think something and you hear something else, and this goes for any argument, period. Like, don't just think someone's crazy or stupid or wrong because you think they're wrong. Like, if you think someone's wrong, I say go take their pitch.
Prove them wrong.
Prove them wrong. Take their pitch. Say, okay, I really disagree with their point of view. Take their point of view. Go research it and prove them wrong. And you know what? If you can't, then maybe you should relook at yours. And that's not, I mean, maybe you can prove them wrong. Maybe they are an idiot. It's perfectly possible. But use a little bit of logic. I mean, think for yourself.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.